Hey guys, welcome back to Live for the Journey. I'm Monica, your host, with
Marley Anthony.
And we're going to be discussing mental health, stress, yes again, but we are doing different avenues of it and different ways our mental health and stress levels can be affected. So today we did some research about diet and activity, and we're going to be talking about our own personal experiences and also the things we've learned.
Yeah. I can start with activity, doing some research, and then also my personal experience. I have found that activity is very important for stress management, but there is a fine line between, when it comes to activity, there's a fine line between overworking yourself and staying lazy. You gotta find that balance, because if you, for example, I'll use one of my examples. What I like to do is, if I'm doing work in my dorm, I'm isolated by myself, it's just me and my laptop or me and my paper, book, whatever, etc. And I get a text from a friend that's saying, hey, we're going to the dining hall, or we're going to go grab Chick-fil-A. Do you want to join? Sometimes I'm like, yes, I deserve a study break, and I'm eating, and probably eating well, which we'll talk about. Mm-hmm. And so I'll go, and that's fine, and that's great, and that's amazing, because now I'm with friends. I'm not distracted from my work, but I'm taking a break to do something that's good for me, which is being around people and eating a good meal. But sometimes my friends I have very spontaneous friends who are very much like, okay, we just ate, let's go to the gym now and play basketball, or do we want to go on a drive and go to just someplace off campus. And sometimes I have a big trouble saying no, disciplining myself to no. I have stuff waiting for me back in my dorm, and sometimes I am disciplined, and I'm like, sorry guys, not tonight, or I have to be up early, or I have work waiting for me at home. But then there's the other side of that, of working too much. And a different example I will use is activity, like going to the gym, which I will touch more on gym activity, how that's helpful later. If you overwork yourself, if you work too hard, maybe work out too much, you are taking that time away from working on your work, which is important. You're a student first. And then also, working too much can lead to injuries and can lead to more stress being put on your body, which is the opposite of what taking that workout or taking that walk was for.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that when you work out, isn't there I don't want to say you work out the stress, but it helps you manage it. Is that something that's...
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't remember the name. I'll have to find it. It's kind of a chemical in your brain when you're working out, whether it's lifting, running, or just a walk outside or on a treadmill. It's like a kind of, I like to think of it as just because I like the gym, I think of it as it's bliss. This is kind of similar how I was saying, it's good for me because I'm with people and I'm eating, which I need to be doing. At the gym, I'm like, this is good because I'm taking a break and I am doing good for my body, trying not to overwork it, because I don't want to come back from the gym to go back into work all tired, sore, hurt, and now more stressed because my body feels heavy or like jello, or I'm all just sweaty. Even if I'm all sweaty and gross, I feel less motivated to work, because I'm I got a shower, and then I'm oh, I'm all clean, and now I want to lay down and start going to bed, and no, I have stuff to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
it's all a chemical.
Yeah, I think for college students, I found out that the caffeine in coffee and in energy drinks actually stresses us out more. It makes our, I think, cholesterol levels rise, which causes stress to rise, which I think is very ironic, because since even before college, you like, you know, when you're going into it, it's the basic ramen noodles and the caffeine and the energy drinks. Like, that's the basic thing. But even in this economy, it's not even that cheap. Like, if you're getting a Starbucks every day, or even if you're making homemade coffee, the creamer's crazy. I don't know.
Energy drinks are insane. And like, energy drinks are like $3-4 a bottle.
Yeah. And like we're consuming that, and we're thinking, okay, this is gonna help me get through my my homework or my shift or my this, that. We're not even realizing the effects that it has on our mental health as we're trying to get this done. So in a way, it kind of like, it's like a back step trying to like jump over these hurdles, which I'm not here to say stop doing this, stop doing that. Obviously not, because I drink coffee and I drink energy drinks. I don't know about you.
I try not to, but there's caffeine, whether natural or artificial, in like almost everything, so I'm bound to have it.
So I'm not saying go out and drink whatever, like there is a limit, but understanding like, oh, okay, if I drink, like I was starting to like drink a coffee every day in the morning, like I didn't even like want it. I'm just like, oh, this is part of my routine. And then after a while, my body just felt like, after learning this, I'm like, my body feels weird, like it like doesn't want to rely on this. I don't know, it was very interesting because it happened like last week. So it's like, okay, is there something else that you can diet wise consume that is going to help you have energy throughout the day and also not break our banks, and also you can have a coffee once in a while? I think there is. It's just we're all individuals and we all have to find our own, okay, I can do this and this, and maybe not this. Like, I can drink a coffee today instead of a Red Bull, because Red Bulls are way higher in caffeine than coffee is, if that's a step that you have to take for you to slow down on your coffee intake. Like for you, you're like, oh, I just won't drink it, and that's fine. But there's other people who literally have to drink it, which is like, even for them, it's kind of like an impulse, like the coffee thing. I'm like, oh, okay, this is my coffee, whatever. And then I'm like, I don't really want it. It started tasting overly sweet, and my body just felt like, I don't want that anymore. So, and it doesn't even affect you anymore. It just makes you like, oh, it's whatever. It's just a bunch of sugar, honestly.
Yeah, you've grown tolerant to it. So now you'll need like more higher doses of coffee or more Red Bulls to feel that energy, or to feel like, I guess, not, if you're drinking in the morning because you're tired, like to feel not tired, or to have that motivation energy throughout the day. I think what a good substitution for that, for multiple reasons, would just be like breakfast. Food. And I know, like, broke college kids, of course, like, I'm not saying like make yourself like the giant, like, you know, like the movie breakfast where it's like the whole table. Don't do that. Like, even just like a bowl of fruit, cereal, like if you have a meal plan, go to the dining hall. They have great breakfast. It's just like, studies shows, and not just like, studies show that if you eat something in the morning and then go to class, go to work, go do life, you are likely to perform better. You're like they always say, like, eat a healthy breakfast the morning before a test, because you are going to intake that knowledge, perform better, or you are going to be more awake and less like, oh, I'm not hungry just like off of caffeine. Like, I'm so hungry because I only had a Red Bull or a Celsius today, or I'm sitting, like, it's been 4 hours and all I've had today is
iced coffee.
A cold brew. Like,
and like people, I'm pointing at myself. I am people. I was the girl that, like, the iced coffee was my breakfast. And it's like, after a while, it's like, you don't even want it, because it's like, it's so, you're trying to find that perfect, like, tasting good, but also giving me energy. And after a while, it's just like, your body's like telling you need more than this, and you get burnt out on it very quickly. Right. So yeah, eating breakfast is like, it's like so cliche, like, eat your breakfast, but it is like, your body, what you're giving your body to run is not what your body needs to run. So you're gonna get, like, your body's gonna run, but you're gonna crash out. And that's the difference between eating food that's in a healthy diet, not meaning in the sense of exercise or losing weight, just healthy as a person. Like, oh, I should be eating 3 meals a day with proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and I forgot the last one. No, vegetables, I think. Yeah. So it's like, it's not this thing of like losing weight and not losing weight. We're not talking about that today. We're talking about just the intake of food. If you're eating a bunch of junk food, then you're gonna feel horrible.
You're gonna feel like junk. If you're eating junk food, you're gonna feel like junk. If you're eating healthy food, you're probably gonna feel a little more healthy. You're probably gonna be a little proud of yourself as well, which is good motivation for me. I know sometimes when I eat a salad, I'm like, okay, I just did that. Like, I earned that. And then maybe I'll get myself like a coffee or a tea as like a treat. Kind of like that. You mentioned crash earlier. That made me think of like another reason. Foods that are high in sugar and caffeine, so like a lot of junk foods, a lot of like coffee, Red Bull, energy drinks, etc. Like you wake up and you consume a bunch of junk food, or you wake up and you have your like 2-3 cups of coffee, you're gonna be fine for a little bit. Maybe if you eat junk food, you're gonna feel like trash, but you'll end up crashing harder. You'll end up falling really hard down. And if you were to instead eat like a bowl of cereal and maybe like just like some yogurt even, or like an apple, that's more like, yes, they have sugar and maybe a little caffeine, but that's not its main source, and it has a lot of other things that are beneficial to you. So you are more likely to feel more power throughout the day for a more consistent amount of time. Instead of a high up and then a low crash, you are more likely to be at a consistent go for a long, maybe not the entire day, of course, but until like you're able to hold over healthily until your next meal or whatever comes up next. And I think that's important because there's no way you can get a high from a Red Bull from any kind of food. And it's not worth the crash because of how you'll feel the rest of the day. I know if I eat really bad and I crash, I have no motivation left. My head hurts, I'm all dehydrated. I just maybe I will get to work, but an assignment that would take me 10 minutes will now take me 4 hours because I just can't stop. Like, I feel so bad because I crashed. So it's very important to know. You don't have to know every single nutrition fact. You don't have to count calories or protein you don't have to do that. But just be aware of how much caffeine you really are intaking and how much sugar and how much caffeine from sugar you are intaking, so that you don't deal with those high ups and then boom, falls.
I think it's interesting that like almost every roommate I've had has either had a Dr. Pepper addiction or a Sprite addiction. And I don't drink soda.
My roommate's a Dr. Pepper.
It's crazy. I'm like, guys, so I'm like the water police. Every time my friends see me, I'm like, have you drank water? And they're like, no.
Me as well. I do that too.
And I'm like, how are you alive right now? Like, even at work, my coworker, she's an older lady. She's like in her 40s. And she does the chicken at Chick-fil-A. And she's like, I'm like, I see her with her coffee in the morning. And then I see her get a Big Red. And I'm like, Big Red, bro. Big Red. I love Big Red, but Big Red, like
Big Red is not.
It's like not the worst. Main. That's like the worst. I feel like besides Mountain Dew, like those two. When I see them, they make me physically
battery
cringe.
acid.
Yes, they make me physically cringe. I'm like, no. But like, I have my own story with sodas. I was like, when I was in 7th grade, I was pre-diabetic because I drank so much soda. So now, I don't drink soda like maybe once a month because. Like that was ingrained in me, like, okay, you're gonna drink this soda, you're gonna be diabetic. So like I see people drinking, like consuming, and they're like, well, there's water in it. I'm like, that is not water. Like, like water is literally, how many, 72% water? like, I don't know. It just like drink water. That's all I'm saying. Like, that's the one thing, like the biggest thing. And that's like a challenge for people. Like, it's really challenging.
It is. A lot of people, I know people who just don't like the taste of water. People think water is tasteless. Some people are like, I have to have sparkling water, or like, you know, the brand like Hint water, where it's like normal, like it's a hint of taste. They have to do that. And I'm like, that's great, because that's a step, because you could be drinking, you want lemon lime flavored water, you could have had a Sprite, but instead you chose a way to find water into your diet. And also, you don't have to stop drinking sodas. What I would do, if I was someone who like had a doctor, say like for example, I'll use Dr. Pepper. If I was obsessed with Dr. Pepper,
there's a lot of y'all out there.
I'm calling everybody out. Of course, I would drink Dr. Pepper. I would find a way to maybe start drinking like diet Dr. Pepper. I think that'd be a nice start. I don't know. A lot of people are like, I know this is diet because it tastes different, and that's a big thing. Like they're like, it just tastes different. It's not as good. They're big connoisseurs on that, but it's better for you, and it's less. And then I'd start slowly, I'd be like, instead of, say like, if I was obsessed and I was drinking like 4, I'll say I was drinking like 4 Dr. Peppers a day, I'd move to maybe like 2 diet, and then I'd have like a water bottle with me all the times, like one like this kind of always full. Maybe I drink 2 of those. And then I'd start to kind of weave one out and bring water in. Because you can never, like, you can't cold turkey something like Dr. Pepper. You can't. Not my baby Dr. Pepper. Something you have an obsession or an addiction with, you can't go cold turkey with. You have to kind of find a way to dissolve it out of your life and fill it in with something better for you. Like water to soda. And I think it's just great, because if you slowly integrate it, when you start only drinking water, it won't feel so like, it's just not Dr. Pepper. You'll just be like, well, I'm just so used to it now that I'm just totally fine with it. And then you can still have Dr. Pepper. No one's telling you can't. I drank a Dr. Pepper. I had one yesterday. It was delicious. I loved it. But a soda, something that's carbonated should not be your main intake of like liquid. Like you should have
your main source of drink.
Yes, your water should not be 99% corn syrup.
After a while, when you start drinking water like me, I drink a soda, but I'm not like, oh, I need a soda. Like I don't like actively buy packs of soda throughout. Like I've had a 6-pack of Dr. Pepper in my apartment this whole semester. And only 3 are gone. Nice. So it's like, but that's my own personal journey. So you can't compare whatever you're going through to me. Oh, she only has 3 sodas in 3 months. You can't do that, because if you're someone who's drinking them consistently, that's an unrealistic goal. Maybe one day, maybe a year from now, maybe 6 months from now, you can be like, oh yeah, I drink a soda a month or every 2 weeks. And that's a good thing, but it's not something that you need to be like, oh, well, I need to be like that, because it's not realistic at all. So I think that's another standard of like eating. There's so many social media, what I eat in a day, what I this in a day, oh my gosh. And it's like, I've seen people be like, okay, now I have to eat like this. I'm like, okay, if you've been eating like this your whole life, and you want to change to eat something completely different, why do you think that will work in one day? Right. If you were doing that your whole life, and one day you're just going to change overnight, it's like this mind game that we play with each other, like, oh yeah, I can do that. And it's like, yeah, you can do that in like 6 months. It's the same, it's like the same putting like, going to play a sport. If I grew up playing volleyball compared to someone who's never played volleyball, why would they expect to know as much as me? It doesn't make any sense. So like, you're watching a nutritionist make food, and you're just a normal person. You never grew up with understanding food the way she does. Why do you expect to just completely transform your life in a day? It's not realistic, and it sets you up for relapsing and either binge eating, anorexia, or any of those disorders, or it leaves you feeling like I'm never gonna do anything, so might as well not change it.
Right.
And I think that it's either like the balance of like figure out what you need to do.
A big thing about those is they're all like it'll either be like a day in the life of a like, and it's usually some kind of cool diet they're on. They'll be like day in the life of a keto or maybe they're pescatarian, but it'll go through like what they eat in a day and then their whole day. These people, like people in the comments are always like, so if I eat like this, I will look like this, because usually it's some like, if it's a girl, she'll have like that kind of hourglass, she'll have some abs, she looks very strong, but not like
masculine.
Not like she looks healthy. She looks very healthy. But you scroll through her, like you go to her page, you scroll her feed, these are the videos she makes every day. She has so many videos of herself making food, like giving advice of how to eat well. Like this is what she does for a living. Her job is a nutritionist, maybe she's a trainer, maybe she helps people out with stuff like this. You can't compare yourself to other people who are on a different trail as you, like you said. Every body is different and you will react to things in ways other people don't. Okay, stick with me, hear me out. I had a friend who, by choice, decided to go keto, and she lost a lot of weight. Very happy for her because that was something she was struggling with and something that was on her mind. So she decided to become proactive about it. I was very proud of her for it. And I said, hey, for a little bit, I said, hey, let me do this with you because, I mean, you're getting great results and I don't want you to be alone in this. I want to try this and I want to try this out as well. I was just curious. The exact opposite happened to me. I was gaining weight. Very confused. I was gaining weight. I was like, we were doing this thing where we would kind of track what we eat, log what we eat, just as more of like an accountability thing. We'd end up talking to each other at like the end of the day, or maybe I'd FaceTime her in the middle of the day and say, how's it going? Especially like at the beginning when we were both doing it like at first. And just, a lot of the meals were the same. Like keto can only go so far, so like we'd have like even like the same brand like bread, tortillas, like stuff like that, and we have very similar tastes, so a lot of our stuff was the same. And so I'd be like, I'm not eating more, I'm eating what you're eating. I'm like following your kind of lead because of the results you're getting. That's what I want, so it's kind of what I'm trying to do. And I'm gaining weight, so that just shows like she did this for a reason to lose weight, that's proactive about, and then I did it and I gained weight. And that, honestly, it kind of hurt for a little bit because I was like, that's just me. Like, why should I even try? Like,
that's what people do because they're like, okay, it's working for them, so it's my fault. It's me. And it's like, yes, it is you, but not in a way of like, you're wrong. It's your body.
It's not you being like, I can't diet correctly or I'm managing this wrong or I just shouldn't eat at all. Eat. Please eat. Please drink water. Please eat. Just find what foods work for you, because I guarantee like there's probably some kind of diet out there that works for me that if that same friend and I did, maybe it wouldn't work for her, or maybe it would, just differently, or it would take a little longer. And that's so normal, that's so common. And I just think we have to stop waiting for overnight results, and that comes from overnight results of studying. You're not going to get 100 overnight. Working out, you're not gonna gain abs and those giant biceps overnight, even though we all really want to. And you know, you're not gonna look like some model who's been doing this stuff for years and is following a diet. They have some kind of like trainer. They have people telling them kind of what to do, and if you're on your own just looking at them from a distance saying, I think she's doing this, so I'm gonna do this, I doubt it'll be the same.
And also social media is like models in general because they're trained to look good. That's what that's their job.
That is their income.
Job is to look good, so obviously they're gonna be picture perfect, and it's photoshopped. Like it's a
big thing.
It's photoshopped. Like I don't know. It's so easy to get wrapped up in like this, but it's fake half of the time. And I know we've all heard this, and that's why we're not giving specific instructions like Monday do this, Tuesday do that. No, we're saying we're meeting you where you're at, in the sense of like, I can't tell you what to do because I don't know your day-to-day. I don't know your body. I don't know this, but I do know listening to social media and running on caffeine and Red Bull and an iced coffee a day. Like, yeah, it's funny, but also it's like you're going to crash out. And when you crash out, you're going to be confused and upset because it should be working. When in reality, there's no science or proof to back that an iced coffee a day is gonna work for anything. But maybe keep you less tired for like 20 minutes, to be honest. Not even. I don't know. I don't even get the effect of caffeine anymore.
Yeah, and also like we are not perfect, of course. If there was a set fixed way for this to be like foolproof for everybody, this is how to look the way you want, this is how to gain all the muscle you want, or have that perfect lifestyle, and if we all knew it, trust, that is what this podcast would be. We would just be telling you how to do it. Mm-hmm. But again, like Monica said, we don't know what your day-to-day life looks like. We don't know what restrictions you may have, or how your body reacts to certain things, or just what you want to do, what you are comfortable with. Mm-hmm. So that's why you have to take that discipline and self-discipline and accountability, and figure that if that is what you want to do, you have to be proactive and figure those things out for yourself. You have to be able to try things, be ready for that trial and error, and be ready for it to not work the first time.
Yeah, I think it's very easy for us. Like, I have the biggest, like, if it doesn't work, I'm not doing it again. Mm-hmm. And it's hard because, like, it's film. So, like, I want it to be perfect from start to finish. And it's like, you can't grow like that. You can't learn like that. And my standard of perfect will be different from Marley's. Like, it will. So it's like, stop looking at the standard and look at what your body needs.
If maybe you were just kind of listening to this podcast, if you're going to take anything away from this, just remember to know your boundaries, know your limits, and you are your own person in all those facts.
Yeah, literally. So we'll see you guys next time talking about something related to stress and mental health.
Yeah, still going.
But yeah, because I think it's really important that we like are aware of this, and also all individually find our own ways to combat it. But yeah.